What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. We're going live for this one. I just realized it's been a very long time since I did a live stream. So this one's impromptu. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people in here, but the main idea for tonight is we're going to do some slow drafts. I have a handful of picks that I've been kind of saving for the last couple hours, and I thought we would open them up. I'd do my thought process behind the picks, and we're here on Drafters. The date right now, May 20th. So if you're watching this and it's later, it's probably not that much help, but we'll try and do our best here. I might have some DraftKings drafts going, and then I don't have any underdog best ball manias that I'm up to pick right now, but we'll check later. But for now, we're going to just open up the drafters here. I've got a handful of slow drafts going. I'm doing a bunch of the twos right now, and then I do the drafters million every now and then, every few days. But let's go ahead and just open it up and see what we got cooking here. And these are all at various this one's actually kind of cool. This one, I entered a handful of slow drafts today. So here we are at pick 108. And Puka Nacua went 7th overall. So they're going to push Bijan and Breece Hall to us. To recap here, you got Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, and Puka. And hey, this is a $2 contest. If you guys are not on Drafters, there's a link, a sign-up link in my description, and it's making me log in. Dang it. But you guys get a free deposit. I believe it's a 50% deposit match up to $100. And what I like about the $2 mini one is it's like you get $20, you get 10 drafts. You get a chance at $20 million or $20,000. So it's a really good, fun way to just do a lot of drafts and get. I like to do these early because it allows me to get a feel for the ADP and kind of just get my feet wet in a way. So I am doing the $1,000,003, but I think getting your $2 drafts in every now and then I think is a really good way to start this the summer here. But we're up to pick. I mean, I'm currently in the process of doing my projections. I have 20 teams done out of the 32. I'm hoping to have the projections ready for June 1st. So I'm going to be trying to finish them up this week and maybe over Memorial Day weekend. And man, I'm going alphabetically. And I got to say, Bijan Robinson still towards the top of my boards here. And I think he's very exciting. I like the Atlanta Falcons schedule. I don't think he should have went behind Puka Nacua. You could even maybe take him over Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think there's a case where Bijan could be the 5th overall pick. My numbers actually didn't come in great for Jefferson and the Vikings passing offense. I think there's going to be volume there. But again, you have a rookie quarterback here. It's going to be some ups and downs for Justin Jefferson. So with this pick, I'm going Bijan Robinson. I want more shares of Bijan Robinson. I have a ton of Breece Hall. But I'm struggling to have a lot of picks here in that 7-8 range. So I'm going to take Bijan here, and we'll move on. So 108, we take Bijan Robinson. Let's go to the next one. And we're deep here. So we had the first round, Bijan Robinson, and now we're super deep in the 20th round here. This will be our final pick. I'll kind of just do a recap of what I started with here. I went with Jamar Chase at the 104, Devon Achane at the second round pick, Jalen Waddle, round 3. So we got a little bit of Miami Dolphins thing going on here. We got T. Higgins to pair with Jamar Chase. So that's looking good. We got both Bengal receivers, Terry McLaurin, round 5, Kenneth Walker, round 6 as our RB2. I grabbed Lad McConkey here in the 7th round to be our 5th receiver, a guy that can kind of, compete for our flex spot. Jaylen Warren is our RB3. I feel good about that. I like Romeo Doubs quite a bit. We did miss on Joe Burrow here. I probably needed to take him at 76, but it just felt a little bit like a reach here. Burrow would have been nice with Chase and Higgins, but we did get Romeo Doubs. I came back with Dallas Goedert. Goedert is fairly priced this year. I like him in the 10th round. I did get Tua, though. So we have Achane, Waddle, and Tua. We have that mini Cincinnati stack there, the unstacked with Joe Burrow, of course. I come back with Zach Charbonnet. So Drafters, I'm willing to draft running back tandems on Drafters because it's a season long thing. Whereas, your DraftKings and your underdog, your playoff style formats, I'm not really a big fan of that. But Drafters, where it's a cumulative season long, I think that's fine. We grabbed Jalen Wright to be behind the Miami Dolphins. third string running back. Receiver Jalen Polk, Luke McCaffrey. I got Geno Smith to go with the running backs, not the ideal situation. And then backup tight ends, Tyler Conklin, Jatavian Sanders. And we threw Odell Beckham on there because we're building a Dolphins thing out here. So I have 2 quarterbacks. I'm fine with Tua and Geno. We got 5 running backs, Achane, Walker, Warren. That's going to be the bulk of our season there. And we do have basically Seattle RB locked in at RB2. So Achane and Warren are going to be trading off one of the starting spots, and then Jalen Wright. So we could tack on one more running back. I think tight end's fine. Goddard, Conklin, and Jatavian Sanders. And then we have 9 receivers. I feel very good about the receivers. So I think what we're going to do here is we're just going to grab either the best handcuff running back. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is looking pretty good. I don't mind Rasheen Ali, who I think is going to be the RB2 for the Ravens. Yeah, not very exciting picking these round 20 guys here. I could grab a Khalif Raymond to round it out. I'm just going to move on here and take Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I did the Chiefs projections today, and they really don't have an RB2. It is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They give him like $1 million something for this year. We'll just tack him on there. So we finished with a 2-6-9-3 build. Let's close that one out, and we'll move on to the next one. Here we go, another round 1 pick. We're picking here at the 9th overall, and guess what? We get Bijan Robinson to fall to us again. I want to look and double check my Bijan Robinson exposures real quick, because I think I was below average on him. If I go to ADP here, Bijan, I'm only at 8% for Bijan. I'm at 13% Brees. I'm really struggling to get that 5, 6, 7 pick to get JJ and Amon-Ra, but I'm going to continue to just pepper in Bijan Robinson here for the reasons we listed above. I love the schedule. He was a top 10 running back last year in a frustrating usage season, but he really came on strong from week 12 on. He was a really strong RB. Not sure what happened in this Carolina game, but lock it in. Bijan Robinson, I'm fine starting with him at the 109. Moving on to another round 20 pick. So you can see I'm closing out a lot of drafts right now, and I started up a bunch of new ones. So hopefully we'll have I'm going to try and do more of these videos going forward, because I just think it's kind of nice to break down some of my thought processes when I'm making these picks. This team's kind of fun. I have a Lamar Jackson, Tua Tagovailoa duo. My running backs are Achane, Connor, Chase Brown, Dowdle, Vidal, and Lobby. Not super excited. I like Achane and Connor, but I have a bunch of guys that are, it's kind of a hero running back strategy, if you will. I just need one of Brown, Dowdle, Vidal, and Lobby to pitch in randomly throughout the year. Receivers, I have Tua stacked with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. I got Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Curtis Samuel, Javon Baker, Rashad Bateman, and Michael Wilson. Tight end looks really good. Mark Andrews, Pat Freiermuth, and Mike Gesicki. So I think it probably needs another receiver. I could go after a running back here. I don't know if there's a lot of running backs that make sense. I do like Rasheen Ali. 7 running backs feels a bit much for this team. Hopefully my receivers are held down by Tyreek, Waddle, Godwin, Deontay, Samuel. I like that group of 5 receivers. I usually like 8 or 9 receivers though. But I think just looking at the receivers real quick, Charlie Jones, Marquez Valdez, not a lot of guys I like here. Ryan Flournoy, maybe. Justin Watson, maybe. There's nothing that is stackable. I think I'm going to run in the rookie Rasheen Ali, take a shot. You're talking Keaton Mitchell as the RB2, who's going to be on the PUP list. He's probably out 4 to 6 games to start the year. He's not going to be 100% when he does get back to. He's going to be a full year removed from his Achilles. There's a good opportunity that this rookie's going to come in and be the RB2. He doesn't really have much to compete with outside of Keaton Mitchell and Justice Hill. So I'll take a shot here around 20 on the Ravens rookie running back, and we got a 2-7-8-3 build. Let's move on to, we got a couple more picks here to make. This one's good. Okay, so we're in the 4th round here. I have Breece Hall, Chris Olave, and Cooper Kupp to start. We're up to pick with Josh Jacobs, Trey McBride, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, some of the best available here. I like Jalen Hurts. I do need to get more exposure to Travis Etienne. I like Trey McBride quite a bit here too. You can tell there's a little bit of a tier break from the receivers here. I have been drafting a good amount of T. Higgins, but it falls off a little bit to Christian Kirk and then George Pickens. These guys are more mid to late fourth round picks. I do need more Travis Etienne though, and just because I was doing projections today, I think there's a opportunity to invest in the Jags offense this year at a discounted price. Everyone is kind of forgetting that, hey, they were 8-3 before I think Christian Kirk got hurt and then Trevor Lawrence got hurt and the wheels kind of fell off from this team. But they were playing really good football. They were the number one seed for a little bit there, I think in November too. And ETN, I mean, 267 carries last year, 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, fantastic receiving numbers. I know he had 58 receptions. I would like that number to go up, but his yards per catch were off the chart. ETN is a volume running back, and you can get him for a mid fourth round pick. I'm going to go Breece Hall and ETN, and then we'll kind of continue to hammer receivers from here. Otherwise, if I did want to go receiver, it's probably Kirk. I've seen George Pickens just creep up it closer and closer to the 3-4 turn. I'm not opposed to Trey McBride, who I like a lot, but I'm going to go ETN here just because I need more exposure to him, and I like that Jags offense right now on a discount. And around 18 picks. So let's see. It looks like I'm going to need a quarterback here. My one QB is Aaron Rodgers. My running backs are Joe Mixon, Jalen Warren, Devin Singletary, Ezekiel Elliott, and Elijah Mitchell. So 5 running backs I feel pretty good about. Mixon and Warren are going to be starting for us most of the time. Contributions from Singletary and Elliott. I think 5 to 6 running backs is kind of where I like to be. With the receivers, we got Wilson stacked with Rodgers, which feels good. But Wilson, Olave, Kupp, that's a very strong top 3. Flowers and Cooper, that's a really strong 4-5. Wicks, QJ, Baker, and Douglas. I got 9 receivers. I think I'm feeling pretty good on those receivers. Tight ends are Jake Ferguson and Brock Bowers. So we do need a QB too. I'm looking at Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Bo Nix. I did see that Daniel Jones was at practice today. That was pretty impressive to see. And who knows, man, like he could provide some weeks for me. Now Rodgers is on bye week 12. I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be starting by week 12, so I might be more inclined to grab a Bo Nix, maybe a Gardner Minshew. I can maybe wait on my QB too and just say Rodgers is going to be my guy all season. If I have 3 picks left, so I think getting a Bo Nix would be fine. Doesn't necessarily need to be stacked. I could grab the Denver running back here, who I like a little bit, Audric Estime. I have a lot of Estime though. Let's look at that tight end because I got Ferguson and Bowers. I could add a Tucker Kraft to that. I could add a Jatavian Sanders, who I like quite a bit. I think he's a guy that people need to start paying attention to. But man, looking at the QBs this late, both Pittsburgh QBs are available. I'm not super in love with it. Daniel Jones back here, though, does intrigue me a little bit. I just don't know if he's going to be starting, week 12 when Rodgers is on bye. I think I would need a third QB then. But, he didn't play great last year in the few games that we saw him. He had one boom game. The rest were all pretty bad. But the offense is getting better with Malik Neighbors, getting just another year Brian Daboll. But I'm not going to force that. I think what we're going to do here, and honestly, none of these running backs really excite me. I feel okay here. Ferguson and Bowers, that's a really strong duo too. You know what? We're going to do it. We're going to grab Daniel Jones and see what happens. And I can maybe add, I don't need a receiver or anything, but we'll be okay with that. I think that's fine. But there you go. Those are my slow drafts over on Drafters. I have 5 drafts going on right now. I have $3 million or 3 of the millionaires going on DraftKings. I'm just going to open it up and see. And here we go. I'm on the clock in DraftKings. Cool. So this one's really deep. We're round 19, pick 220. My QB is Joe Burrow. Running backs, James Cook and Jalen Warren. My receivers are Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk, Nico Collins. I do have Jake Ferguson at tight end. And most of this was drafted before the schedule came out. So I apologize if there's not a lot of good schedule correlation here. But I do have a really nice Cincinnati stack. Higgins, Chase, and Burrow. I got Brian Thomas down here on the bench, Romeo Doubs, Ezekiel Elliott, Jahan Dotson, Jalen Wright, Polk. I got Gibson, Bryce Young, Okonkwo, and Jatavian Sanders. So tight end is set. I like that group of tight ends with Ferguson, Sanders, and Okonkwo. I got Bryce Young stacked here with Jatavian Sanders. Let's pull up that best ball cheat sheet and see what we can find for correlation. So Denver and Cincinnati play week 17. You also have Carolina playing Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay and Denver wouldn't be bad ideas here if I can find guys on those rosters this late. I mean, I could add Bo Nix. I already have 2 QBs, but Bo Nix wouldn't be a terrible call here. And again, we mentioned Tampa Bay being the other team. But I think, my team is built fairly, balanced. I could go either way here. Let's look at the running backs. Madison, Foreman, Sanders, Evan Hall, Braylon Allen, Samaje Perine. Not a lot of running backs I'm super in love with. Let's look at the receivers. I do have 8 receivers. I usually like 9. Elijah Moore, Greg Dortch, Noah Brown, Brendan Rice, Rondale Moore, Bo Melton. I don't want to click Josh Reynolds, but I mean, he's part of Denver. That doesn't feel very great to me. I think we're kind of just looking at a luxury pick here to finish this off. I'm not opposed to that Clyde Edwards-Helaire that we pulled earlier. I think we're fine at QB. Yeah, I think we're just gonna whip this one in here. So Madison, Foreman, like the running backs are so bad. Pick 220. I'm gonna grab Greg Dortch here or Rondale Moore, one of these guys here. I'm gonna go with Dortch. I think he's the slot receiver in Arizona, and we just needed another receiver piece here. So I'm good with that. Let me see if I have any more. And most of my DraftKings are kind of coming to a slow halt. And I've been doing a lot of slows because my projections are not built out yet. So I want those to be, fresh in my mind when I can do some fast drafts. And then I've been moving into a new house the last few weeks, and at work I don't really like to do the fast draft, so I do a bunch of slows throughout the day. Let's see what I got here. This is another round 19 team in the Drafters Millionaire. This one I didn't stack a lot, so I apologize in advance. I got Jared Goff at QB, Pacheco and Montgomery at running back. I feel good about that. Lamb, Ayuk, and Waddle at receiver. Tight end is Ben Sinnott, so we got to work on that. Tank Dell at flex. I got Rashee Rice in here on the bench, Jalen Warren, Nick Chubb, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Hunter Henry, Ty Chandler, Drake May, Demario Douglas, and Michael Mayer. So tight end needs work. I have Michael Mayer, who I think they're going to do a lot of 2 tight end stuff there, but hopefully Henry, Mayer, and Sinnott can be enough. I like the receivers quite a bit. You're talking Lamb, Ayuk, Waddle. That's a really strong 3. Dell in the flex. We'll get Rashee Rice back at some point, but then I got Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, a nice little mini GB thing going on there. And then my bench receiver or my bench running back depth, Pacheco and Montgomery, that's a good duo, I think, for value. Jalen Warren at RB3 looks good. Maybe Nick Chubb comes on late for me. And then I get a little bit of Ty Chandler coming on late at some point here too. So that looks fine. Looking around here, again, a lot of the same junk that we just looked at. I'm down to the final picks here. I'm cool with another running back. Who's my other QB's Drake May. Another receiver here. We just took Dortch. Where is Khalif? Where's Wiz Khalifa? There's Raymond. I'm just going to grab Khalif Raymond and slap him with Jared Goff. That's another receiver for us. So Detroit building that out there. Let's see if I got any more picks to make here. This one's a Drafters Millionaire that's in the 10th round. And then I did a couple other cheap ones. But either way, I think we're probably, let's see here. I got one more to look at. Otherwise, my underdog ones were not close to picking. So we'll get that another time. But there you go. I just wanted to hop on, say hello, and show you guys what's going on with the slow drafts. If you're not on Drafters yet, use the promo code in the link below. I think you get a 50% deposit bonus. You're probably on Underdog. You're probably on DraftKings. But hey, all those links are below. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in a future video. Peace.